Hey, party people, TGIF, no Kimmy Gibbler, no Steve Urkel, but we are going to have fun. It's me, Drew Dougherty, and my good pal, Deepi Sidhu, just kicking it back to the 90s with the ABC TGIF reference, I thought.
It was Full House, Family Matters.
Was it Step by Step with Suzanne Summers?
There. They had eight is enough, or what was that?
No,
was there for
that was in the 70s.
No, it was another. It was like 9 is enough or 7 is enough. It was like another version of that.
Well,
that lasted.
Hopefully we're going to get at least
basketball
9 questions. Oh, yeah.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Something like that. So
Drew's like, I didn't want to talk about this much.
We want your questions. Send them in right now via Facebook, via YouTube, via Twitter. We want to hear from you. We will answer as many as we can because that's what we do on an RTIC Cooler Talk.
Mm-hmm.
DP, there's not much going on right now. The Combine is starting on Monday. Dudes got married last weekend in Titus Howard, Kaimi Fairbairn, and J.J. Watt, of course. But around the building, pretty quiet. You had the Brandon Dunn signing earlier in the week, and that's a nice thing. DJ Dunny stays in the building. That was a welcome move by many in the organization, most notably Watt. He tweeted about it, said how happy he is. But it's this time of year where locally things are kind of quiet, but it's going to pick up next week when we hear from Bill O'Brien at the Combine.
Yeah, you mentioned J.J. Watt tweeting. He actually tweeted about some of these proposed NFL rule changes.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a story about it on HoustonTexans.com briefly. Some of these, a new playoff structure, that's among one of the things that NFL owners voted on. They approved these new rule changes. Now the Players Association has to approve it. J.J. Watt is not in favor of this. He says a hard no on the new CBA rules, and one of them would be a 17-week season.
Yeah,
17 regular season games, 3 preseason games, which I thought was interesting. But I did like adding a couple more playoff teams to the wild card.
You did?
I did.
I think there's nothing wrong with it the way it is right now.
No, I like having 6 wild card games on wild card weekend instead of 4, and then the number 7 seed makes it from both the AFC and the NFC, and the Texans would have made it in 2 years. 2 separate seasons, the Texans would have made it had you allowed that. Yeah. I just think more competition the better. Only one team gets a bye, so I'd like to shake up the playoff structure a little bit. And the 17-week season, I don't know. We'll see, because I think it's going to be a hard one to get through. But there's more to the story, but that's still ongoing.
2 got a tango in this one, and only one side is tangoing right now. Billy on Facebook, I just says say happy birthday. So I guess it's happy birthday to you, Billy. Congratulations, you made it another year. I hope it was a great year. I hope today and this year are stupendous ones for you. Anything you want to add to that?
What if it's not Billy's birthday and he wants to wish someone else a happy birthday?
Well, he just said say happy birthday, so there we go.
Is that mine or Drew's?
Devin on Facebook has this. What will the Texans do with DJ Reader? Well, the Texans have said they'd like him back. They don't know how everything's going to shake out. It sounds like he's going to test the free agent market, free agent waters. He's very valuable as an interior defender. We shall see what happens. There's no, I know there's lots of variables when it comes to free agency, but DJ Reader, a very, very good player who has improved every single year he's come into the league.
Yeah, considering he was one of the later round draft picks, the fact that he's really shot up, and he's, I think, one of the notable free agents that will be out there if he does hit the free agent market. I know John Harris and you and myself and Mark Vandermeer, we did this draft night on Wednesday where we had a budget of $18, and Johnny assigned values to each of the free agents. And DJ Reader was quite up there based on what Johnny's been seeing. But I don't know. People are asking if the Brandon Dunn signing means anything, whether the Texans will or won't sign DJ Reader. I don't think so. You can read into that. I think, obviously, they both are valuable to the organization in very different ways. DJ Reader starting a number of games for the Texans, but I think that you can't read into that yet. And I think it's just going to depend on what he gets out there in the market. And then obviously the Texans have a lot of other guys they need to lock up as well.
Yes, they do. And guys who aren't necessarily free agents this year. So keep that in mind. Joshua on Facebook, what are the Texans' biggest needs heading into free agency? And I think during free agency, before free agency, after free agency, before the draft, et cetera, the biggest needs are bolstering the pass rush, getting after the quarterback, bolstering the secondary because you've seen some guys get cut, and there might be some more changes to come. But I think those 2 spots especially, you'll see them address look out for the offensive line, look out for wide receiver, look out for running back also in free agency.
I think there's always a couple of surprise positions that the Texans end up drafting. A few years ago when the Texans didn't have a first or a second, they took Justin Reed with a third-round pick. Not a surprise, but they did also draft a couple of tight ends, which was surprising because 2 tight ends in a draft where you don't have a lot of picks. Same thing this year. They've got, 6 picks?
Right now, and then compensatory picks are going to come out sometime in the next week.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think you've got to add a pass rusher opposite J.J. Watt because he's, we see him when he's playing at the highest level, what he can do, but then you got to always worry about injury, and he's getting older, and then you got Whitney Merciless on the other side, and if anything happens to one of those two, you don't really have a lot of depth. So a pass rusher, and then obviously in the secondary, we want to see some cornerbacks. Jonathan Joseph, I mean, he could play forever, but do you really want him to play every single snap of every single game? I don't know if that would be the most effective way to use him, but obviously you've invested in Lonnie Johnson, and you had all the guys that came through last year, Gary and Conley.
Yeah, you sent a third-round pick, which you had received from Seattle in that trade for Jadeveon Clowney.
Bradley Roby becomes a free agent, and then they recently cut Vernon Hargrave. So that position is still a little bit in flux, but I'd be really curious to see what they do at the cornerback position.
No doubt. Leslie, on Facebook, are the Texans looking at running backs in the draft? Yes. They're looking at just about every position in the draft, but running back, I'm certain that they will target and perhaps use a draft pick on a running back. Don't know how high, but this is, if you listen to all the experts, including John Harris, this is a good draft for running backs. This is a good draft for wide receivers. Don't be surprised if you see the Texans use picks on each of those spots.
Yeah, you've got Duke Johnson locked up for a few more years, but Carlos Hyde becomes a free agent. Lamar Miller becomes a free agent. And running backs, they cost quite a bit of money out there, the ones that are already established in the league. So why not try to get somebody from the draft that you can, that can sort of grow with your organization as young. They've got some practice squad guys that I know Bill O'Brien really likes as well. So you've got a couple of different options. I would like to see them draft. When was the last time the Texans drafted a true running back? I mean, they took Tyler Ervin a few years ago, but they never used him as a running back.
It's
been a while. I'm at a loss for when in recent times that was.
Thanks a lot for putting me on this.
Put you on the spot, but
hot seat right there.
It wasn't recently, which is my point.
Texags Texans on YouTube. What are y'all's plans for the off season? Any vacation plans? Well, we got the combine. We're both going to the combine.
That's
along
not a
with
vacation.
5 other people. Yeah, it is. You get to go to Indianapolis. You get to see family.
In
we get
February.
to have a good time. Yeah, we'll go to the combine next week in Indianapolis for a few days. Personally, I'm going to Maui in May. Yeah.
Oh, fancy.
Me and my wife, and then we're gonna go to Belize in July.
Oh, okay.
So those are the two, and we'll go to Fort Worth for a nephew's graduation.
I like it.
In May. What about you? You always go somewhere exotic.
I do because my kids are older. You've got a lot of little kids,
Yeah.
so we do skiing around spring break, and then in the summertime.
Snow skiing or water skiing?
No snow skiing,
Oh,
which
okay.
I'm not a big fan of the snow, but it's a good family activity, so we'd like to do that. We'll take some quick trips around here. I've got an older son that's got to start looking at colleges, so I have to do the college tour. I don't think that's a vacation. I think that's work.
Yeah.
But then maybe in the summer we'll go. I want to go to Greece. I've never been to Greece. And so that's kind of where my eye is right now. And
It's a good movie with Travolta back in the day. Loved it.
It was a great movie. We'll sing songs when we go there.
You're the one that I
I'm
want.
sure my kids will love that.
All right. Well, this has been a fun time, and I hope your vacations and all y'all's vacations this off season
You too, yes.
go splendidly and rejuvenate you and invigorate you and inspire you, perhaps even. So
Get a good hula in while you're in Maui.
get a good hula in. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get 2 good hulas in. Thanks
Good
so much.
luau.
Thanks so much to all of you for sending in questions and for watching. And thanks so much to Amanda Caffey and Tyler Marcotte doing the behind-the-scenes work and making this all happen. And thanks to you, Deepi Sidhu.
Well, thanks to you, Drew Dougherty.
Oh, appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you again next time. And remember, go Texans.